thedailymass.com. Experience the Roman Catholic Mass from historic St. Louis Cathedral every day on thedailymass.com. His love, anywhere in the world.
Good evening, I'm Sarah McDonald.
And I'm Jason Angelette. Welcome to Issues in Faith.
Well, we want to wish all of the fathers out there a belated Happy Father's Day. You,
Praise
Jason,
God.
my husband David, who's so wonderful,
Yeah.
my dad, your dad, everyone out there.
Yeah.
We were remiss last week in not wishing it in advance, and I thought of it immediately after filming the show. I said, how did we forget to say Happy Father's Day?
I was so caught up in so many things. I'm sure we're all kind of busy at this point, but definitely a big thank you to all the fathers out there for embracing the cross and witnessing the faith to the family. That's
right. We want to remind everyone that fathers are to be the spiritual head. They are charged with being the spiritual heads of their family, and I'm so grateful that my husband has taken on that role and fully embraced that role in teaching our son and now our daughter the prayers and being that figurehead, knowing that I watched Nathan pray and he holds his hands and positions himself exactly like his father does. And so for me, that is just a wonderful, beautiful thing to see, and I'm so grateful that is able to. It
reminded me of a story when I knew this couple that were away from the faith, and as they started growing in their faith, the wife was just looking at her husband in such a different way. It's like, so it was just, it really was amazing for her. Like, it really was attractive for her to see her husband take on this leadership role and to lead the family in faith. And so just a big encouragement to all the fathers out there to take that encouragement and that lead forward.
Definitely. Well, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
In a letter to British Prime Minister David Cameron, Pope Francis said that the goals of politics and economics must be to serve all humanity, starting with the poorest, the vulnerable, and the unborn. The Pope also urged the world leaders, including U.S. President Barack Obama, to help to broker an immediate ceasefire in Syria. Pope Francis's letter, released by the Vatican June 16th, was written in response to a letter Cameron sent to the Pope June 5th, outlining some of the priorities the British Prime Minister intended to push during his one term as the president of the G8 summit. Cameron said he wants to emphasize openness in economies, governments and societies through the support of free trade, tackling tax evasion, and encouraging greater transparency and accountability in government actions.
At Mass on June 16th, Pope Francis told a crowd, including thousands of pro-life activists from around the world, that ideologies and practices that destroy human life arise from false ideas of freedom without God. The Mass was the culmination of a weekend dedicated to Evangelium Vitae, which translates to the gospel of life. Pope Francis said, all too often people do not choose life. They do not accept the gospel of life, but let themselves be led by ideologies and ways of thinking that block life, that do not respect life, because they are dictated by selfishness, self-interest, profit, power, and pleasure, and not by love, by concern, or for the good of the others. As a result, the living God is replaced by fleeting human idols, which offer the intoxication of a flash of freedom, but in the end bring new forms of slavery and death.
CARA, the Center for Applied Research in the Apostolate, has released the results of a study in which they asked new priests about who the people in their lives were who encouraged them to explore the vocation to the priesthood and those who discouraged it. The study found that priests, mothers, teachers, and youth ministers overall encouraged men to consider the priesthood, while fathers, friends, and other relatives discouraged men from considering the priesthood. The research is meant to help vocation directors in developing plans and how to support young men as they talk to their parents and family members about a vocation to the priesthood. And when we come back, I'll talk with Jason about an upcoming special event for married couples. But right now, here's a sneak peek of our musical guest, Piece of Cake.
Calling. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in love with you. 'Cause I can't help falling in l
Well, you know him as my co-host here in Issues in Faith, but did you know Jason is Director of Faith and Marriage for Willwoods? Tonight he's going to talk with me about this ministry and about the upcoming Archdiocesan-wide Supper and Substance, something we do every year.
Yes.
And our regular viewers should know
Yes.
that you are Director of Faith and Marriage for Willwoods. Tell us a little bit about that ministry.
I'd say it's a beautiful ministry that was started back in the late 70s by Paul and Jane Nolte. They were Deacon Paul Nolte. They were looking to do more for the strengthening of marriages, them and a few other couples. So they kind of formed this ministry to kind of really offer more opportunities for strength, enrichment for couples, particularly retreats for married couples. And over the years, it's grown and done many different wonderful things. One of the programs that was started was a program called Supper and Substance, which is a parish initiative that the parish provides this kind of dinner and presentation on the faith by a couple and two couples, and hopefully through that presentation inspire them to go deeper in their faith. And then not to mention our retreat program and doing presentations. So it's being an asset to a parish, to the Archdiocese, to be a resource to be able to turn to help strengthen married couples in the area.
And I think that's important. People are aware, of course, of the Family Life Apostolate for the Archdiocese, and they handle a lot of the marriage preparation programs, the marriage enrichment programs, and you are a resource for parishes and the Family Life Apostolate. Work closely with Deacon Dre.
Oh, very much so. In fact, Deacon Dre and Brenda, they're on our advisory board. So we're very much in relationship tied with the Archdiocese, and so we're very appreciative of that relationship and look forward to many more opportunities where we can work together.
And you started talking a little bit about the Supper and Substance program. We've had them in a couple different formats here in the Archdiocese. We're going to talk a little bit later with Piece of Cake Band, who's been part of the retreat ministry as well as the Supper and Substance, but they're going to be joining us in July for the Archdiocesan-wide Supper and Substance. Tell us why this is so important to be able to do this on an Archdiocesan level.
Well, yeah, this is our sixth one, and one of the things that we noticed when we came, my wife and I, Elise, when we came into the ministry, that there had been a long history, tradition of supper and substances in the Archdiocese of New Orleans and beyond. It's like over 70 parishes, thousands of people. But after Hurricane Katrina, there was a lot of struggling in parishes to kind of put something together because they were worried about so many other things. And so that program was kind of put on the side.
Sure.
And so the Diocesan-wide Supper and Substances is to remind parishes and to maybe re-inspire their hearts, say, hey, this is a great program, let's bring this back. I remember when we did it before. And so we try to offer it as a marketing opportunity for us to reinvigorate those parishes to maybe reintroduce that program, or maybe to a parish who's never done it before and say, hey, this might be a really good idea to bring to our parish. And we try to offer a fun night, and that's what we hopefully inspire that a parish will do, is offer a fun night for their couples in whatever way, genre that they want to do, whether it's a romantic night, whether it's a fun night, whatever they want to do, but to do something for their couples and bring them in and feed them spiritually, physically, and then also inspire them to do more afterwards.
So we'll be at Rock and Bowl for the Archdiocesan-wide Supper and Substance. We're very grateful to Johnny Blanchard and the team over there for giving us over Rock and Bowl for the early evening. As you mentioned, there's a meal, and there's also a spiritual meal. Who's going to be our speakers this year?
Well, this year we have Chef John.
I'm so excited about
this. I know, Chef John and Jennifer BESH, and so we're very excited for their yes to be a part of the for the part of the night. They're going to share their story and hear their walk in faith and be inspired. And so, yeah, as I'm very much excited, looking forward to hearing from them and their story too.
And I for Mother's Day, I got his cookbook, My Family Table, and
he's
been using
Fantastic.
he's been using that cookbook as a platform for his new television program, and also some of the other talks he's done. And what I find interesting is, and for those of people who know me, I actually read cookbooks.
Nice.
I
Good,
read cookbooks.
good.
He uses his faith throughout that cookbook.
Yeah.
He talks about how he goes to Mass on Sunday with his family, how he greets his sons in the morning, and so just being able to read that, you see how he integrates his life, his faith, into his everyday life. And I know you've had some conversations with his wife Jennifer about that as well, and how it'll be really fun, I think, for people who may know him, of course, as a television personality, seen him on Food Network, seen him on on Bravo, and to see that different side of him, that family side of him, and the love he has for his family and his city. Yeah. I think that'll be great to see for the couple.
Elise got to do a presentation. They did a women's conference at St. Francis Xavier in Metairie, and they were both speakers, and so Elise got to hear a lot of their story and talk with her too about everything. So we can't be more excited to have them with us. It's an honor and a blessing to have them with us. And yeah, so Rock and Bowl, July 20th. Tickets are still available. Please call. We can do check, credit card, however you want to, however anybody wants.
How much per couple?
It's $75 a couple, and that includes
a great date night.
Oh yeah, it's a great date night. It's a presentation, bowling, music, food, drinks, all covered.
Wonderful. And a very inexpensive date night as well when you consider all of that
for sure.
being included. So we're very excited about that. And just to point out too, you talked about it being an opportunity for parishes to learn. I know a lot of parishes use this as a model. Some parishes, like you said, do the romantic night. My parish does a dinner and a movie night. And
brilliant.
So I mean, it's a really good opportunity to do it, and it is open. It's not just for people who have been married for a long time. It's open to couples of all lengths of marriage.
And even too, if people know couples who are maybe not Catholic and say, hey, this is a fun night, why don't you come with us? It's a great evangelization moment too. Yeah,
I agree. It's definitely putting the new evangelization into action.
Exactly.
Very good. Well, thanks so much, Jason, for bringing this to our attention, for working on it, and we'll keep reminding our viewers about it.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Well, again, the annual Archdiocesan Supper and Substance will be Saturday, July 20th at Rock and Bowl in New Orleans. For more information, go to faithandmarriage.org, and we'll be right back.
It's happening in schools and schoolyards. A timeless tradition is rekindled with every new class, in every new face. In Louisiana Catholic schools, learning goes beyond textbooks and testing. Students are embracing faith, values, leadership skills, and of course, a classic history of academic excellence. Invest in success. Louisiana Catholic Schools, a class of their own.
Mr. Pat Rosner, thank you so much for being with us.
It's our pleasure.
Y'all do an amazing job, and we're so thankful that y'all are here sharing your talents and your gifts. But I want to hear first, talk about the origin of Piece of Cake Band. Y'all are very musically talented and gifted. How did y'all come together?
Well, basically, they're all musicians. We're all musicians, and it started out of Mary Queen of Peace Parish. And even though we all play in the choir there, and it's basically a church ministry. As you know, in this area, there's lots of fundraisers. There's lots of things going on because much of the social life is centered around the church and some of the church schools. So there's always opportunities for secular music, and we thought that was a chance for us to share our talents, our blessings from God in a secular way. And we started just literally the first time we ever played, we were in a black classroom playing background music for one of the very first auctions that Mary Queen of Peace had, and they said, you know what, you're not that bad. Next year we'll let you move out of the classroom. You can actually be near people. And we added some more pieces, and we added some more folks, and now we're to the relatively big footprint that we have now, and it really is a blessing. It's a chance to work. We work with you guys, and we're very proud to consider ourselves your house band for your ministry, and it's a great opportunity for all of us.
Tell us about our relationship with the retreats. I want you to share what that's been like for y'all, and just it's been a blessing for us.
Well, it's clearly a blessing for us, and again, if you ever wonder about being able to share God's blessings in secular ways, you certainly can do it. And again, we consider ourselves your house band. We'll come up and play for your retreats. And the best example I can tell you is a few retreats ago, we're playing away, and sure enough, we find out that a gentleman comes up and says, I have not danced with my wife for 20 or 30 years, but you played some music that touched our hearts, and I finally danced with my wife again. And I would practice 5 hours a week for 10 weeks to share that kind of blessing with somebody, and our whole group feels that way.
The retreat ministry has been beautiful, and it's been absolutely amazing to have y'all with us and to be able to play at night for the couples, that kind of jazzy love songs, and to really inspire the evening and to really enhance the experience for them. And looking forward to the opportunity July 20th at Rock and Bowl, and have y'all come again. Last year we had the couple Joe and Molly Lombardi. They came in and did a wonderful job. Y'all played fantastic. They were great. And we've got this year Chef John and Jennifer BESH, and we're looking forward to having y'all with us again in
Didn't talk to a soul that didn't have just a wonderful time at Rock and Roll last year. And I mean, if someone gets a chance and doesn't go, they're going to be sorry they didn't make it.
Amen. Well, Mr. Pat, thank you so much for being with us. God bless you and all your talents. And
God bless you guys.
We'll kick it up to another piece from Piece of Cake Band.
Soon, the U.S. Senate will take up a new immigration reform bill, one that calls for paving the way for many undocumented people already living in the United States to become citizens. In a prayer service at Notre Dame Seminary, the Archbishop encouraged all Catholics to pray for our lawmakers and for those in our country desperately seeking citizenship. Janet Gross has the story.
Moved by the circumstances of others, or even compelled by their own circumstances, they join hands.
And we humbly pray that God would give us the strength to realize His vision of justice here on earth.
They lift their voices to God, supporting each other, standing beside those who struggle in fear and sometimes silence just to stay.
And because they're undocumented, they're living in the shadows, they're living in fear, but many of them have been here for at least a decade. They have family members who are citizens, their children are citizens.
For some, the terror of discovery taints everyday life. 13-year-old Alejandra's mom is undocumented.
She's already trying to figure out a family to look for, and she said if she doesn't find a family, she might gonna have to put us in foster home or give us up to adoption, and then we might get separated from each other.
Alejandra is one of those they pray for, but there are many, many more.
We left our children with 2 daughters. We left them over there with my mom, and we just decided to have, them in a better future, and we just came like everybody else does.
Our story starts in Honduras, and then we decided to come here to the United States to give a better future to our daughters and help our family.
In many ways, they resemble and are like the Holy Family, who fled to Egypt to free violence and poverty and persecution for a better life.
Understanding that no country can just fling open the doors and let everyone in, those here will send postcards to lawmakers asking for a fair and timely immigration process to keep families together and out of harm's way.
We proudly stand as Catholics because we are pro-life. This is a pro-life issue. And if we say that we are Catholics, and if we say that we are for life, then we must have place in our hearts and in our prayers and in our words and in our actions for those who are undocumented and for the immigrants.
But now we have a situation where we have 11 million people. They love this country. Their kids are growing up here. They want to be a part of our country like every generation of immigrants before them. But there's not a way for that to happen because our system is broken. And so the law being proposed would fix that broken system and make sure this doesn't happen again.
In this country, founded by immigrants, the debate over immigration law goes on. And these here hope and pray that God will lead decision makers and open the hearts of others and the door to freedom in America. I'm Janet Gross for Issues and Faith.
While the Senate is expected to take an initial vote on the bill soon, discussion and debate will likely continue in Congress for quite some time.
If you have a question for us or an idea that you'd like to see on air, please write to us at Issues in Faith, 3330 North Causeway Boulevard, Suite 345, Metairie, Louisiana 70002, or you can email us at questions@WLAE.com. Plus, if you missed an episode, you can catch up online at www.archdiocese-no.org.
And that's our program for this evening. For all of us at Issues in Faith, thanks for watching.
We'll be back next week. Hope you join us again soon. Until then, God bless. And we'll take you the last song from Piece of Cake Band.